Welcome back to another episode of Reusable Space Program. This is episode 23, and it's now time for us to launch our crew transport craft, or Gemini 1T, because I'm very original with names. If you think I should have a better name, subscribe, comment down below, like the video, all that sort of good stuff. So, we're going to have to start moving our team around to where they're needed. We've got a lot of crew just in random locations now. And you've seen this launch before, so I won't go on too much about it. But we need to build up a presence in Kerbin orbit because we have a few things to them to do, in particular our Minmus missions. And we're also going to have to send some rookies to the Mun. So let's get on with that, I think, should we? So we're just going to watch the return of our first stage of the craft there. You can see the Zephyrus has become very much a workhorse for us, and it's just, I'm going to really speed these through if I actually show them at all. This is very much just a final return. Engine burns, down it goes, wonderful. So up in orbit we have our standard second stage to the Zephyrus, and it's basically going to rendezvous with Dawn Station. We're going to bring it to Dawn Station and rendezvous because, well, Dawn currently has, I think, just Matt on board. However, we could send this thing straight off towards the Mun, but we don't want to do that. We want to actually, we want to take some crew out to the Mun, which seems a bit counterintuitive because we've got a lot of people at the Mun already, but this thing has capacity for about 6 crew. The Mun Station currently has pretty much our original team of Nakot and Scott, and it's also got some of our crew from down on surface. So it's got now, after the last episode, we've got Isaac and Gwyn. So we need to bring them back. They're going to be useful for us. They have experience. We need to use that experience for our next set of missions. Because of that, we're going to send some rookies over there, and we're going to use this craft to do it. But there are no rookies on board, you'll notice. It is not crewed currently, primarily because it was its first launch, and I have learned that it is not a good idea with a craft like this that doesn't have parachutes to put crew on board. So I'm now making a rule for myself that crew cannot come up unless the craft has an abort facility that could save their lives, and this thing does not. So it comes up uncrewed, robotically controlled. It will dock to Dawn Station, and Dawn Station, obviously you can see there, it was designed to have a bit of capacity. It's now got most of its small docking ports filled. We've got one more standard docking port, and then we're going to have to extend the station to get any more. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. So we just come in there, and this was actually a reasonable docking by me for once. You know, I've been getting lazy with them, and this one wasn't bad. It comes in and pretty much glides onto the node. We get a little nudge, but it docks quite nicely. So we've got that there waiting. Now we need the crew. So we're going to send up our little relief crew for Mun Station, and this time they're going to go up on a Dauntless. It's got 4 seats, but we're only going to send up 2 crew, so that means we've now got a total of 8 seats for return to Kerbin on the station. So that means we can pretty much bring down, I think, almost every crew member we're going to have. But we'll have to, I think we're one short, but then again, that's going to be somebody that's potentially at the Mun, because there will not be everybody at Dawn at everyone. So anyway, you'll see in the future. So we don't need scientists at the Mun anymore. We don't need to do science there. We've done as much science we need. It is a refueling facility now. So we're going to send up some pilots and engineers. So we're sending up Frobro and Marsha, who were both rescued by the team in Kerbin orbit and whatnot. And so they've joined the crew, and well, they're rookies, even though they've spent probably more time in space than most of our team because of their stranded nature. They're considered rookies for our team, so they're going to be going out to the Mun, and they're going to take over Mun Station. We're going to have one member of our rookie crew down on the surface, which you saw in the last episode with the new Mun tanker. He'll stay there. We're going to have these 2 in orbit, and that's going to basically be the Mun team, which means everybody else, all the other 4, are going to come back. So we need to prepare that. You can see Marsha is really quite excited about this docking. And again, you can see, look at these really nice nimble little docking craft, even though we're not quite aligned properly. So we just do a shift to one side, reorientate the craft a little bit. There we go, using a little bit of RCS. I didn't really need to do that then. And then we're just going to drift it across, and you can see what I'm doing is just lining up that nav ball. I'm looking for the target reticule there. I'm looking for the target positioning. I'm looking at my velocity relevant to the target, and I'm notice I'm drifting, so I want to put a little bit of forward push in any second now. There we go. We're zeroing out my speed past the target, and then we're going to put a bit of forward in. And the aim now is to get that forward prograde vector just on top of, there we go, just on top of target, because I know I'm aligned up roughly okay for it. So there we go. And dock, and that was a beautiful dock. So this craft is not going to go anything. We're going to move the crew out of there, and they're going to be transferred over to the transport craft, the Gemini 1T transport craft, which will be going out to the moon. So there we go. Oof. Lots of stuff to do. Just sat there in orbit. They're going to move around. They're going to get acquainted pretty easily, but we're going to send this craft off now to the moon. So we activate all of its systems, make sure everything's turned on, get everything sorted. RCS is working good, superb. Then we're going to put it in normal orientation as we drift away. Make sure all lights are turned on, because that's important. And then it's going to, there we go, fire its way just, and I cut that out. It wasn't that quick a fire, it was a long burn. Quick burn out to the moon. And the aim here is actually, can I get a reasonable rendezvous? Can I get it close? And I was hoping to do a one-step rendezvous, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't bring it in. So it was, I had to decide, okay, we're not going to do direct rendezvous. It's close, but it's just not perfect, and it wasn't really worth the excess fuel and so forth to do that. So we'll put a marker down for that, and then we got wait. So while we wait for the new transport to get to the moon and the Minmus craft to arrive at the destination, it's time to get some expansion of Dawn Station underway. We're going to use 2 flights for this. Second flight's going to be something a little bit special. Well, you might think it's you'll see. The first one is pretty much just expanding capacity. We need to get a bit more space there. You could see in the last flight there that in reality we don't have any more docking ports for craft on that. We've got expansion ports top and bottom, the big chunky ones, and but we don't have any actual more docking ports. So if that transport craft had not left, we wouldn't have any space on the station, which is nice to have and nice not to have as well, because it means we've got a lot of stuff up there, but it does mean that we can't actually arrive there and do stuff. So we're setting up an expansion anyway. It's nice and simple, and this is going to join onto that middle, the core section of the station, and that's its role. And we're actually going to try and get a direct from launch rendezvous. You can see there I'm playing around. We've launched, and I think we're just behind or in front on our launch. So what we're going to try and do is just come basically over as fast as possible and rendezvous. So you see there, I've got a rendezvous on the other side of the planet. So that's within half an orbit. We're going to hopefully get a rendezvous, which will be quite nice. And we're just refining it, because I want to get it down as low as possible. I don't have to, but this craft is not the most maneuverable, so I'm aware of that. So we do our little refining burn there, getting it on wonderful. And so we're doing a wide arc here while that's happening, just while that's happening, and I literally have 15 minutes of that orbit to do this. This is going to land back down. You can see the other craft is approaching the station while this is happening. You could see, if you rewind the video, you can see me actually checking to make sure I've got enough time. So we jump back and we miss the station, just overshoot, fire the engines, and yeah, that was a bit chaotic there, bit speedy up. So we're coming in around the station now, and our speed's now more relative. This is much calmer and easier. We're gonna align with that bottom docking port, and whoa, yeah, no, calm down, sea monsters. Yeah. So Billy Bob is basically in the pilot seat here, and yeah, the only reason he's allowed to be in this is because that transport unit has parachutes. You know my rule earlier about you got to be able to escape thing. The plan was, if this went horribly wrong, he would come back down in what he's in. Now I don't know if the parachutes would have been strong enough for that, but we'll assume they would be. So what we're trying to do now is just position this underneath Dawn Station on the normal. We want to basically put it underneath because I want to do minimum movement here. So there we go. You can now see the extension to Dawn Station, and it's got a science lab. Yeah, that's right, a science lab. I have never, and this seriously, never used the science lab in Kerbal. It's terrible. I know it's absolutely terrible. I'm a classic Kerbal player where you used to collect science and bring it back to Kerbin or transmit it. Now, another example of me trying to be a bit lazy, I set it to target the target. That did not work. Chasing targets like that, not a good idea. Set it to normal, and then we'll just drift and hold, and that's what we do. We just set it to normal and then thrust in, and yeah, docked. So now we've got an extra set of docking ports right down the bottom. Nice and easy, wonderful. So now Dawn is twice the size, and we've got 8 docking ports for craft. Wonderful. Of course, on new Kerbal, I'd be able to rotate those docking ports to align them nicely, but they're slightly off here, which is annoying. So Dawn Station is big. It's got big and chunky and strong, so that's good. We did see some wobble previously, but anyway. So we're gonna send this this craft back down into the atmosphere. Not gonna waste too much of your time with this. Bring it down. Oh, look, we somehow might be able to get back to KSC. So within one orbit, that's right, this craft went up into orbit, docked with the station, well, rendezvoused with the station, offloaded its payload, the payload docked, then we take this craft, after that, still coming around the planet, we do a retrograde burn because it's only just gone past halfway around the planet, and we dump it down, and this thing is going to be landing within sight of the KSC. I think that's really quite nice. I really like that. Considering the docking in the middle, I think that's a really nice little achievement. I would have liked it if we could have landed closer to the KSC, but I don't reload these things, and you know what? If I did, I could probably have refined it properly, but I didn't, so you know what? It's not bad. It's not bad. If you'd like to see me refine them and get a perfect landing on something like that, please say so, but I think it's a little bit more realistic, the fact that I don't reload these things. So there we go, down, perfect. And we launched another craft, and I'm not going to show it because its launch profile was pretty much the same as the first one, and this one is delivering the MBA, or Matt's Big Arm. That's right, that's what this mission is all about. It is it's delivering something quite different for the station, and I'm not sure how useful it actually is, because probably would have been better if I designed it differently in hindsight, because I wasn't fully aware of how certain mechanics work in the game, shall we say. So this is actually quite an aesthetic now instead of anything else. So this is Matt's Big Arm, and it has won a wonderful job, and we'll see in a minute what it is. We're just going to bring it in close, and then we have the weirdest docking approach ever. So there we go, extending the arm. There we are. So that's got a grabber on it, and oh, we did that thing where we get under control. Right. So that's the arm there sticking out. We're just going to bring it in, and I decide, where do I want to put this? I want to put it up a bit. Yeah, we're going to put it up here towards this bit. Yeah, we'll put it in here, next to where the crew sit, because they'll be in charge of it. And there you go. We'll detach that, move that away, and there you go. There's Matt's Big Arm, and Matt's Big Arm is pretty much, there you go, a little robotic arm with grabbers. Now, you can identify for me what the big problem with this is. Yeah, that's right. I was originally hoping this thing could actually walk around the station, a bit like the way Canadarm works on the International Space Station. Only problem being, if I decouple one of those when it's attached to the station, it decouples the other. Okay, I know this because of the one time that I have now loaded a save on this game, because I felt I was allowed to. So after talking in the previous bit about not reloading, I have reloaded this once, because I swung this round, attached it with another bit of the arm at the bottom, detached the top one, and the whole station exploded. So, you know, I let myself off with that this time. If I do it a second time, it stands. But there we go, Matt's Big Arm. So this thing, it's pretty much decoration, let's be entirely honest. But I thought it'd be really cool. Originally, I thought it'd be really cool if we wanted to bring capsules there and hold on to them and things like that. We could stock up on return capsules. But the stage that took us up into orbit there comes back down. You see an interesting little pull on the parachutes just as it decoupled. And I've noticed this with this one and a subsequent landing. You can see that the top node seems to be drifting, so I'm not sure what's going on there, whether the craft has got a little bit of corruption in its save or something, because I use the same one each time. But land safely, wonderful. So our crew are arriving at the Mun. This is going to be their new home. You can see that they're actually, well, one of them is happy, the other one seems sort of pensive, is what I want to say. And their mission is going to be very simple. You know, they're going to be sitting around the Mun Station 1 and basically looking after it. It may be if they need to do anything regarding going down to the surface, they have the runabout available. But pretty much our mining operations are set now. We're going to have tanker crew on the ground there, fueling up the tankers, fueling up the transport craft that are going to bring up the tanker craft, bring it up into orbit. And then we've got the other craft bringing the fuel out. So pretty much Mun is done. Mun is done, it rhymes. And we are getting to a point now where a lot in this series around Kerbin is finishing. I think we have the Minmus station that I want to finish because we've got a big set of missions for Minmus. I want to finish that. I have a penance to do regarding the crashing of a tanker. Don't know what you're talking about. Which I will do in another episode. But we're coming towards what I would say a transition point in this series. So I'd really like your feedback as to where you'd like it to go. I am going to probably pause this series before we go into planetary, primarily because this is now running on Kerbal 1.10. We've got 1.12 out, and I want to see if I can actually transfer it to 1.12. There's some building stuff that'd be really useful for particularly interplanetary travel. But I really like your feedback on where you want this to go, whether you want me to continue on as it is, whether you want me to change it up and actually just, restart it, do something a little different, or anything like that. So feedback down below. But until then, until next time, have a great one.